questions before I get rolling here. Elon. Yeah, I mean, think about the timing of that. Like, what is going on with the timing? Like, so I'm gonna show you something. Like, if this is Wyckoff related, right? So let's get rid of a bunch of stuff on this chart. I don't know if this is related to try to make a Wyckoff style, but let's just make sure these are dialed in here. There's weekly levels, weekly, not 3-day, weekly levels here. Oh, come on. All right, take this off of auto and log. I always have this. I always forget to flip back from log when I go to log charts for some reason. All right. Yeah, I don't know if somebody's trying to keep the price action in this range, but we were trying to break, 38,200, call it the weekly high from over here. We were trying to break that and confirm that as support here. Recent, that's what this was. This whole thing was. Send this back to auto, right? So we were trying to get this confirmed as support, and we just broke down below it now. So back in the range, on a daily level, we're getting back into the range here on a weekly level. You can see that we're just trying to hold that range. But on the whole Wyckoff thing, the whole point is to send price down, back up above resistance, and then back down below resistance multiple times for the accumulation. It's kind of the idea of it. And it's as much human psychology as it is, if it is true manipulation, I don't know. I really don't care. Hey guys, all right. Feel free to ask questions because I didn't have any agenda. I figured people would be asking me. So somebody asked earlier as we were wrapping up. That's not my tooth. Is this the bottom? Is the bottom in? I don't. Unless you're a whale that has the ability to buy a couple $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, you can put a floor at 32,000. There's no way to know. There's just no way to know if the bottom's in. No clue. Nobody knows. I would say probably not, and here's why. Probably not. Just you look at momentum. We've lost a lot of momentum. We've got this kind of cross here of the 50 and the 120. We got rejected by the 200, and now Elon's tweeting that as it's trying to break out above 38,000 back down. Now, why did Elon tweet that? I don't know if you guys. I got to start with my usual. All right, nothing here is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is my second go at doing a live stream at night, so I keep forgetting I have to do this again. But I'm an idiot. If you end up listening to me, you'll end up losing all your money, being liquidated because you're going YOLO 100x long, which I never would have said to do, but people do it apparently. And you're getting liquidated and losing all your money and end up living in a van down by the river with Boneholder and Doge over here. All right, with the ability to track movement on exchanges, how can we not use the data to predict the large sales buys about to take place? Hey, Todd. I did tweet this earlier myself. Now, this is Elon's. We got Elon's tweet here. I don't know exactly what he means by this. I think the reason Elon tweeted this, by the way, if you saw the news, there were all these billboards that were very negative billboards. The Bitcoin community around Miami, the conference going on. It's really close to where SpaceX currently launches. And so there's a lot of billboards and things basically telling Elon to stay out of crypto. You know what? One thing I forgot to do, guys. I'm going to throw this up on Telegram here that we're back to this live stream. So I think what he's saying is that basically this is the Bitcoin community attacking him on all these billboards and stuff, all angry at him, and this is his little heartbroken thing. And then I know I said it would never be over between us if you quoted one more Linkin Park song, but I found someone else. So in the end, it didn't even matter. You know what? I'm going to play that. That's what I'm going to play now. I'm going to listen to In the End, It Didn't Even Matter. What song is that called? That's the lyrics. In the end. Is it just In the End? In the end, it didn't even matter. In the end, it didn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Yeah, I think the song is just In the End. I love that. I love Linkin Park. So let's play that song. I'm going to listen to that. Yeah, I remember the music, the very late 90s, early 2000s music video for that song. It was like the most trippy thing ever. Another thing is, interestingly enough, if you're a conspiracy theorist, I know some people are, that Linkin Park song, oddly enough that he tweeted this, is very Illuminati-filled imagery in that whole thing. It's all these you know, different. Yeah, it's a lot of conspiracy imagery in that video. So if y'all want to take a look at the Indian Lincoln Park video, I don't know if there's something to that. I mean, I know conspiracy theorists all over this stuff. I'm not, but I have family members that are pretty big into some of these conspiracies. So, all right, but yeah, go check out that video. It is in the end. Yeah, go check out the music video if y'all haven't. All right, Superman's dead sounds appropriate right now. I like it. So anyway, I think this is him. So to your comment about. Hear Jordan talk about it. Somebody made a comment. Yeah, predict. Okay, I did tweet earlier. I saw. You know, if you follow a whale, let's see here. What did I tweet it? Whale, whatever they call them. So, not whale alert. Is it whale? Whatever it is. Yeah, that's right here. Yeah, whale alert. So I tweeted that there was a 2,000 Bitcoin inflow to Coinbase. So somebody 11 hours ago knew that something was going down and they were going to dump tonight. So that's why I posted that, face. But yeah, there's been. Let's look at Glassnode I was looking at Glassnode earlier. I don't know. I can't probably share Glassnode charts because it's a paid for service. I just don't want to get in trouble or slapped on the wrist or anything with sharing charts. Let me try to just grab a screenshot of something small here for you guys. And this is delayed data, so remember that's delayed data. Let me just grab a quick screenshot instead of sharing the actual tool. I'll move it over here. All right. This is our net transfers. So we've had some transfers into exchange the last couple of days, and then it's back out today. So 24th, 25th. Yeah, so we've had a couple of exchanges out. I think today will probably be a net flow in again based on what I've kind of seen. But it's not there's not a lot of there was a lot of minted USD. Oh, so one other thing I do want to say is when you see USDT or other stablecoins minted and sent to exchange, that certainly could be a sign that somebody big is entering the market to buy the dip. But if you're going to take a big short position and you're not currently in crypto, you just don't like crypto and you want to short Bitcoin, you think it's the bear market and you're going to short Bitcoin, you're also going to put USD funds, you're going to put fiat money in to be able to build your short position. You're not going to buy crypto to then go short it, right, for your base account. You're going to just transfer. So large amounts of USDT going to exchange could be for buying, but also could be for shorting. So just keep that in mind. We don't know. The only thing we know is a large amount of crypto going to exchange. It's very rarely the purpose of that is to buy. It can be that people are sending Bitcoin to an exchange to leverage long it, right? So to build a base account and then borrow against it to leverage long, borrow against that. So it can be that. Much more commonly, it's the other direction. They're going to sell it or exchange it, right? So if you see Bitcoin or Ethereum coming into exchange, normally what's going to happen is they're going to exchange it for another crypto, stable coin, something. Let's see what we got here for questions. What exchanges do you recommend for shorting cryptos? Binance has long been my favorite, but I can't use Binance where I'm at, so I've been using Kraken and KuCoin and Gemini. Gemini is like my primary exchange just for buying spot, and for my on-ramp, off-ramp, and on-ramp. But to short crypto, I mean, probably Kraken or KuCoin. They're both pretty good. And Binance probably would be the best. Coinbase, I personally use Coinbase Pro, which I've used for a long time, since before it was Coinbase, which was GDAX. But because it's Coinbase, I don't use it too terribly much. But primarily, I use Gemini. Secondarily, Kraken. Tertiary would be probably Coinbase Pro, then KuCoin. KuCoin I like because they have a lot of coin options, and they have really good leverage options. And so that's if I'm going to be aggressive with leverage, that's where I go. That's KuCoin. But I kind of move funds all over the place, depending on what I need. All right, Boss. I don't know who Boss is. Check out SGMS. Let's go look at some charts, guys. Let's look at some charts. What is happening on Bitcoin that's happening on. Let's look at these charts here. I got SMGS. Is this a crypto? What is this? SMGM? I don't know what that is. No idea what SMGM is. Launched 2.0 version, currently pumping hard. Smeagol Mars. What is that? I have no idea what that is. Let's see if I can't get some hints here as to what you're talking about. SMGM. I have no idea what that is. Sorry. You have to give me a ticker I can pull up on, or a symbol I can pull up on a CoinMarketCap or on TradingView. Do you think that the chart pattern overlay from September you tweeted to yesterday holds any weight? I think, yeah. So the analog was, hey, this kind of looks like this down here. So let me put this on a log chart so it's a little bit more, helps a little bit. So yeah, this price action here, we came up, came down, and then, kind of bounced, and then we got into a really strong uptrend. Does this look like that? And yeah, I like the concept of something like that happening. The problem is, you see these moving averages and how they interplayed. We didn't lose as much momentum. So I think if we were to do measured moves on this, it was less of a measured move. And really, you had a similar, kind of, if you want to look for Wyckoff, this is like a Wyckoffy looking. This not so much because it didn't have this third higher. But nonetheless, I don't care. I don't look at Wyckoff patterns. But if you're asking, is it the same or a similar pattern? I like the concept of it consolidating like this before breaking out. That's what I commented on and said, yeah, I like that idea. The problem is the sizes are a lot different. Let's measure this from peak to trough. Oh, hold on. I need my measuring tool. Wrong thing. All right. So from peak to trough, that was a 20% sell-off, right? So percentage-wise, it was not nearly as big. But on the way up, really, this impulse was, a 36% impulse. The problem I have with comparing that directly is this. This is really the impulse here, if you want to look at that. Like, yeah, we'll call it from here up. Let's just take a look. Measured move of 120% up. And then, yeah, much bigger percentage down. So the problem with that analog is there's just more resistance now because we've taken out these lows. So over here, I believe, another way to think about this is we never took out the prior lows. So that's what's concerning about this sell-off. Is, yeah, these sell-offs got stopped well above this, right? So you never, like these highs became support over there. So that's kind of normal market, in a bullish pattern. You can have a big move up and then the move back down, and then you test support of a prior resistance, right? All right, so let's take a look at our price action now. We kind of, it's similar, but you see we've been the prior support we kind of set over here was really this line, and we've definitely taken that out. It's cut right through it. Now I guess. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Is like over here, we held the highs. The very highs, we held those. Right? If you draw the analog here, back here again, let's go back over here. So there's some subtle differences. I like the concept. Like you take that very, very high, you got below it a little bit, and then you got back above it. But the body of that right there on a daily, you pretty much, you were right on it. And you never really closed below it significantly. And you kept that. Here on a daily time frame, your high was here, and we've blown by all that, and we're on the underside of it. That's now resistance. That's the main difference, just structurally. Jordan and I did a live stream. He's going to post it later. The angle of this ascent on the moving averages is steeper, so on the reverse, the downside, we have more room for it to bounce. Is kind of what I look at it, but we did slice through so much price action with this. So I like the analog of this. I think, let's see, how long did this consolidate for? I think it's fair to say we're going to consolidate probably longer. Ultimately, that was about 50 days. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm looking for about 60 days of consolidation here. Maybe 70 or 80 days. So I've been kind of calling ever since we broke, say, like that level right there. So we'll just start right there where we very first broke that, wherever that day that was, this day right here. Let's go forward in time through to the end of July. That's 70 days. I think 60 days of consolidation makes sense below that level. And then, then 30 days above it, and then you head to a parabolic top. I still think the timing is going to be fairly close to what we expect if we get the second top. If it doesn't, and we have this longer top later on, so many things with the model are broken. So we're in uncharted territory. Are we still selling off? Are you serious? Elon tweeting that he got his feelings hurt about some billboards is causing how big of a move is this? Just from a silly tweet that, like, come on. Wow, it's only 4%. It looks worse than it is. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. All right, back to questions here. Didn't think of the shorting aspect. Yeah. Are you waiting for another capitulation or position back lower? Also in the alt ADA. What I'm waiting for, so, I'm like, all this price action doesn't really bother me. I'm like, I did the math, 60. I've taken some profits off the table, so I'm good. Like, my initial investment's protected and all this, and it's safe off line. But I'm like 60%, 70. I think I'm 70% on the sidelines in stable coins that are collecting interest right now. I have them collecting interest, and what I'm waiting for is to confirm that Bitcoin's going to regain positive momentum. As long as we're under this 200, I'm pretty much just on the sidelines, because what I don't believe we're in a strong bear market. Just because all the fundamentals for Bitcoin are just so strong, and so many things are just like eyebrow raising how weird this cycle's playing out. So I do think that there could be some catalysts for some positive strength. So I don't want to short just yet. I don't want to get into shorting this right now. So I'm still holding 40% or so of my position just in case it starts to take off. And I still believe in it long term. So even if this consolidates or we enter a bear market, I'll just hold the crypto I have and I'll trade accordingly with my stablecoin profits. But what I'm really waiting on, honestly, is for it to retake this 200 convincingly. And I know it's a little bit of a premium to pay, but really waiting patiently for us to retake. You see that 40,800 level, this roughly through here? You see how the 200 interestingly lines up with that level right there. Pretty close. So for me, getting back above here to put my full size position back on would be what I'd want to do. In theory, what will probably honestly happen is we'll hit this resistance and roll over a couple more times, and these, like the 120 will curl down, the 200 will curl down some, and we'll actually end up crossing these levels when they're lower. And maybe we'll hit the 120 and cross it. The 120 is the one I'll be a lot more aggressive. If we get above the 120 and confirm it as support and it curls back upwards, I'll show you what I'm really looking for. Let's go to a longer chart here. I'm not going to put it on log. 2013 is kind of what I'm looking for, honestly. Something like this. Now, obviously, I'm not going to make it pretend like it's going to play out. I'm going to put it on log chart because it helps see this one. Okay. So what I'm looking for is exactly what happened here, right? I'm fine. I got out here, and I'm fine waiting all this out and getting back in over here. And I'll be collecting interest on my stable coins. But when we retake this level, I'll be back in pretty strong. And then whenever we get our last capitulation and then bounce, that's where I'll start putting leverage on. When I start seeing this very healthy, strong uptrend, if we get one of those and we're heading for a parabolic top, on the early signs of that, I'll be doing lightly leveraged. So for now, I'm 60% on the sidelines with stable coins, collecting interest, waiting for this to shake out. I will probably see now the price action we have now is we're under the 200, which is a bit concerning, right? So this never even took out the 200. But if we get back above the 200, I might put a little bit back on, and be, if we get below it, I'll have to go back out. I might, hopefully I don't get chopped around too much, but I'll probably try adding maybe 10% back on the 200 retake, 50 retake, 120 retake, and then once we get above all three of them, right? And what I'm really looking for is to confirm momentum is when I see all these moving averages start to separate and they're all going the right direction. So right through here, when the 120 is back above, this is where you can be really aggressive because this is probably where the blow-off top's coming with trades. But, I'll try to be more proactive than that. You can see once you see the 50 curling back up, right, and it crosses back through here, this is the cross we got now. I'm kind of waiting for this, right? And I'm hoping the 50 doesn't cross the 200 or we have a totally different. And I think absolutely because of the angle of all this, the 50 is probably going to cross the 120 and then retake it. That's what I think is probably going to happen. It's going to shake a lot of people out too. That's that kind of mega death cross people are looking for. That's all my opinion. This is not financial advice. I don't know. I'm not a prognosticator with some ability to see the future. This is just hypotheticals and kind of what I expect to play out. What seems probable and likely to me is all I'm talking about. Look at comments. BTC. Okay, well, I got lots of comments here. Do you think you might be moving to ADA Cardano? So I sold 80% of my Cardano. I'm already kind of regretting it, but I did sell it at 230. I was really close to putting on a position, adding some back here. I'll see the 12-hour. If we got a 12-hour CTM signal above this level right here, this is the breakout I took before. Right, I took this break. This is the breakout. This was my rotation breakout right here, that level. But that level doesn't have. It's no longer a price discovery level, so I'm not as enthusiastic about getting in there. But Cardano, talking about the moving averages and everything else, and it's still in a strong uptrend. So it's still, technically speaking, super strong, and it's looking just fine. So I'm on the fence because my problem is if we enter this next phase, if we end up consolidating at these lower prices, and especially if we break down here and make like a high 20s spring, this is where you're going to want to buy as we retake this level. This is where you're going to buy alts because alts are going to get demolished. You're going to have this big. If this were to play, I kind of expect this price action. I expected us to bounce between these two levels, and it's interesting that Elon tweeted right as we were trying to break out of that. But that's what I'd kind of always expected, us to bounce in here for 30 days or so, and then that breakdown, double bottom, spring out of there, probably a double bottom right around there. That's what I was kind of in my head thinking would probably happen. And if that were to happen, this is where you want to buy your alts when they get creamed and ADA's springs down to like 80 cents or 95 cents for the last time or something. So that's kind of what I'm honestly waiting for. Or Bitcoin unexpectedly quicker than I expect anyway. It wouldn't be too unexpected. Retakes like these levels and these moving averages start moving in the right direction. Then I might have to just re-enter Cardano slightly higher than I sold. It's a penalty I'll have to pay. I don't think I will. I think I'll be able to re-enter before the levels I got out at, because I think we're gonna dip, and I'd rather buy a nice big juicy. So I really should have bought here and here on Cardano, but I was too focused on watching what the heck Bitcoin was doing to buy, to be looking at altcoins, and it was really the sell-off was beyond scary. But seeing how strong Cardano is, I think the next sell-off. Which, again, if Bitcoin does make a nosedive at some point, we're going to sell off to $1 again, probably $1.30. Be a good place to buy the dip right through here, maybe. But I'll wait for some catastrophe, quote unquote, to happen that I'm very strong, that I think is going to be the end and will bounce back to buy that dip for my hodl bag to add to my hold bag. Now, trades are different, right? So, did you ask about trades or did you ask about dip? You asked me about buying back Cardano. So for me, that's. When would I buy the dip? When I'm buying for a long-term position, I try to buy the dip. When I'm taking trades, I try to buy with momentum, right? And so a trade would be a CTM signal up here. I'd probably go ahead and put a trade on. Stop loss right there, nice tight stop loss. I'm not messing around. Either it's going to take off and we're going to get a good trade, or I'm going to get stopped out. I'm not going to mess around with, like, really wide stop losses. Probably. All right, can you short on Gemini? You mean Gemini? Yeah, I use Gemini Active Trader, and I honestly don't know, because all I ever do on Gemini is spot buy. I use Kraken for trading. So I honestly don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Bitcoin, Brandon, Bitcoin being so fragile, even to the idiot's single tweet, how is it going to make a new all-time high, leaving aside 200,000 to 300,000? Well, I mean, you know, they just proposed an $8-point-something trillion stimulus package. So I think you would have to gain back the Bitcoin as a store of value narrative, which has kind of been. If you notice, nobody's been talking about that a lot lately. There was a lot of this Bitcoin is gold 2.0 talk, and now it's kind of not the case. We're talking about negative things more. So sentiment just has to turn around. And there's probably some other big positive catalysts that could spring Bitcoin much higher. So an ETF, you know, big players entering the space, all those things will spring it back higher. At this point, we just have to shake all this negative sentiment and get the price action turned, momentum turned back around, and get sentiment back on the right side. So, yeah, I'm not banking on you know, the way I play my trades and the way I played this is I had my plan, and I'm not. If Bitcoin doesn't make any more highs the rest of the year, then I made the profit I made, and I'll be looking for, you know, more trades wherever the trades line up. But I'm not going to try to predict how it gets there. There's a lot of positive catalysts that could get us very, very strongly moving back in the right direction. I'll just say that. I mean, there's a world where it goes back the right direction quickly. A lot of things can happen. Do you think he might be moving to ADA? Oh, you were asking me if Elon might be moving to ADA. It's a possible. If Elon. So it's obvious Elon didn't really research cryptocurrencies all that much when he started tweeting about Doge and his fanciful Doge developers don't exist, and tweeting, and then just the announcement that he was going to quit taking payments on Bitcoin because of the environmental concern. He didn't research anything. They just jumped in and bought it because he wanted to. So I don't know that he's done the research yet. He's probably busy with his rockets and his cars and everything else. I don't know if he's had time to really research the difference between the different ecosystems and understand the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano. If he has, Cardano, I'm a pretty firm believer. I think getting involved in the Cardano ecosystem maybe makes sense for him to develop applications on, but there's no reason at all for a company like Tesla to hold or accept payments. And Cardano's a utility token. It's not a form of currency. Like, it's just not. Neither is Ethereum. Bitcoin's a currency. And it's a store of value currency, all these things. But everything else is just utility. And so I think it makes sense for them to look at developing on Cardano and using Cardano for there's a lot of use cases for blockchain and, like, especially autonomous vehicles, full self-driving, being able to interface. So think about the full self-driving, how that works. The car has to have a whole lot of data, and it has to have roadways built specifically for full self-driving, full autonomous level 5, right? So there's a lot of sensors and things that have to be integrated with, and so certain cities are going to use this as a cost center. They're going to be they're going to have special tollways probably that are full self-driving tollways or roadways that full self-driving cars can use. And the self-driving car companies will probably have to pay them a little bit of a utility fee for using all the sensors and all the different things that they're going to have to provide and maintain. It's a lot of expense to maintain, a lot of the external sensors that are needed to make sure everybody's safe on those autonomous lanes. So the blockchain can be used to facilitate micro payments of transactions and the data, specifically keeping privacy around the data. The other problem is when you start recording a lot of data about, all the vehicles and location, there's a lot of privacy data with that. So, one of my little pet projects, VXV, Vector Space AI, they're very much in this space, right? They're using blockchain to enable this ecosystem of consuming data and normalizing data for AI use cases. And obviously, full self-driving vehicles are a huge AI use case. So, long story, it would make sense for Tesla to. I don't know about SpaceX. I don't know if there's any real use case of SpaceX. There might be. I don't know. Maybe the satellite thing, probably. Yeah. So the satellites, there's definitely space for Cardano to be used as to be able to do like lightweight payments for very short transactions if you want to use the Starlink network. And then full self-driving with Tesla. So Cardano could definitely be used in those ecosystems. They could develop on it, but there's no point in them buying and holding it like a treasury like Bitcoin. So yeah, I don't know if he's moving to Cardano, but he might need to look at it for development's sake, I would think. That would be smart. Yeah, BTC's retesting the symmetrical triangle, hopefully bounce. If it can withstand the Elon tweet, hold the symmetrical triangle, bottom may be in. Yeah, I like it. I was looking at the exact same thing earlier too. I like that comment. I would agree. And you see we're trying to retake this trend line here. I'm going to get my moving averages out of the way. Oh no, they're curling down. It's not good. But we were trying to retake this trend line. So if we can hold this trend line and get back into it, that's also very bullish. Right? So this would all have been a buying opportunity down here below it. But you know, it's kind of scary to buy when you drop down and blow something like that. But it's better to be patient and wait for this repair. Where's the triangle? Which one of these? There it is. Oh, what on earth music am I listening to? But yeah, I like it. If it can hold this, that's a good indicator that we're regaining some strength here. All right, let's just shuffle some Our Lady piece again. Let's just shuffle Linkin Park is what I'm going to do. Look in his Linkin Park. I'm like the least professional YouTuber out there. I'm like, I'm going to play with my music while I'm trying to do YouTube. All right, sorry. All right. Back to comments. No, only Doge. Yeah, I mean, who knows what Elon does. He goes only Doge. I don't know. Doge has no real development, right? It's Elon's pet project now. That's about all it is. Yeah, Bitcoin Miami has started. It's exactly, you know, that's why I think that's why Elon tweeted what he tweeted was, you know, all those mean posters around the Bitcoin conference, and he's just saying basically, it's kind of like he's breaking up with the Bitcoin community because they're breaking up with him. I don't know. I gather the reason people are ultimately selling is because this is basically, you know, they're thinking that maybe Elon now sells, you know, has Tesla sell the Bitcoin they hold. Who knows? Who knows if that's what that means or not? I don't know. Doge should get banned to removed, and no one cares who has money on it. Well, I think Doge, something should be done about the silly pumping of a project that has no real merit. I mean, the reality is, honestly, there's nothing that says that if enough people don't, you know, follow Doge and support it, then there's an ecosystem to be built around it, and perhaps let's see that line coming in there. I just looked, my eyes saw that. If people start really developing it, then yeah, I guess it could become something. But, you know, it's just a fork of Litecoin that's behind a few months perpetually. So unless Charlie Lee decides to just drop Litecoin and go develop Doge, which all that would be is Doge would become the new Litecoin. Sure, whatever. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. All right. Let's face it. The whales who have billions to move BTC are the ones that have billions, that got billions from the Fed. So the billions come with strings attached. I can't argue that. What are those levels on BTC? Monique Johnson, what were you asking me? These? So what I have here are the weekly levels. The white lines are weekly levels. So that's the weekly close, high close for January, and then the weekly low close for January. So those are really important weekly levels, and that's acting as resistance for us right now. We need to get above 38.2 and confirm that as support. That's like step number one to regaining some bullishness here. Somebody is doing some math in chat. Cool. I'm glad you like math. It's probably just, yeah, it's exactly, all this is right now is the algos reacting, going, okay, Elon posted something negative. This is a sell. And so, you know, the moment he posted that, a bunch of algos go calculate and say, hey, Broken heart equals negative. He tweeted about Bitcoin. Go short Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin or whatever. And then they'll just buy back down here. I sell my BTC Elon. Do you think Wells are selling? Based on the charts, let's look at. I have the R hodl ratio. Where is my R hodl ratio on my charts here? Sorry, I gotta go with my Glassnode charts. Last I looked, no, the whales are not selling in mass. Now there was some selling, yes. Let's see here. Realized cap, hodl ratios, net. Where's the large wallets? I'm looking for the large wallets. Addresses under holders. All right, average outspent. Okay, poor. Where's the large wallets? The MVR, VC score, reserve risk. I'm looking right now to see if I've seen any. Okay, long-term, short-term supply holders. Oh, you know what? Let me share. To answer that question, let's go to Alan. He did post about this. He had a nice aggregated chart recently. So Alan did notice some things about, that was 16 hours ago. He noted some things about GBTC the other day too. I don't know if you caught his tweet. I was reading through those tweets. GBTC premium drying up. There was an unlock period, so a bunch of GBTC was unlocked, and that added to a lot of the dumping. But let's go find this thread that Alan had back here to answer your question. He did a no euphoria, but that doesn't necessarily mean the peak indicators. Here we go. Here's his thread. So MVRV hasn't reached the peak yet. Our hodl. So this is the 1 year hodl wave, and so people that have been holding for more than 1 year, it's down, but not to the lows, obviously. There's another one. There's a large wallet. Did he tweet that? Yeah, this is the realized cap hodl waves. Where's the large wallet one? The pure multiple. No, he didn't put the large wallet on here. Basically, from what I'm seeing, is the large wallets are still basically they were actually selling up here, and they're now starting to acquire. I've been kind of waiting to see if that's really going to change. If they're going to acquire a lot, they were actually selling up here. So large wallets were selling all through here. I think they started selling right over here, but they really aggressively sold this. So kind of an indication that maybe, at the time it's hard when this price action is so bullish. It's hard to put too much stock into that, but maybe we should have thought about that some more. All right, back to questions. Yeah, so the large wallets were selling. I don't know that that's the case. So I'm trying to look for an updated chart, and it's not definitive right now. It's starting to curl the other direction, like they're starting to add again, but it's kind of flatlined basically right now. So not a clear, conclusive direction that I can see. Last drop like this, 2013 took 6 months to recover, so I always think 4 months-ish, but these are big setbacks. Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of favored, ever since we broke down real hard like this, the longer recovery period is probably more realistic, and that's going to change our. So here's the problem I have with the longer recovery periods that I'm grappling to understand what that means. Is on this chart, if I go to the weekly, see I've got measured out here. I've got measured the cycle low to cycle high, and then from cycle low to halving, from halving to cycle high. And a few other measurements, right? So yeah, cycle low, irrespective of having cycle low to cycle high. And you can see what's interesting. It's like a metronome, right? We have this impulse up, down, up. It's such a consistent metronome. And if you measure cycle low to cycle high, irrespective, you forget the halving exists, and you just measure just that. You come up the dead center of that move, that kind of metronomic move is the halving. So. In our current cycle, let me turn this off of auto. In our current cycle, we're still from cycle low to cycle high. Like if this is a symmetric move, right? So if we have it's 504 days, and this is 511 is a little over the line right there. It should be 500. Say we make it even exactly. In theory, in history, it's actually slightly short of the bull market from the bear market. From the low to the halving is slightly longer than the halving to the high. And that puts us at the end of September, early October, where a theoretical peak should occur. So if we consolidate for that many months, then this metronome is broken. And it's not the end of the world. It's just we just have to know moving forward. This metronome is going to be a little bit off kilter for whatever reason. But that's why I still think that like 2 months of consolidation, a strong August and September, is possibly more likely at this point, with us peaking more or less on time. Now, I was able to make it 504 days right there. Now, take a look at this on this chart, though. I will share this. I was doing some work on these. I know a lot of people have these. They're drawing what they do is they draw this line right here on their log charts. And first of all, I don't think you can trade log charts. I think it's a silly idea to even try to trade log charts. But that is super interesting that so far the bottom's coming right there. So I won't deny them that. That is interesting that the bottom so far of this sell-off has come right into that level. I don't know that you had that type of symmetry. But remember, this right here, though, was a black swan event. So measuring moves from a black swan is kind of, I included on my charts. I think it makes sense. But what I did is I actually focused on the midline. So I drew through the midline here, and I found the most reasonable price action at the midpoint. And what I found was, if this is going to be a double top, the way I kind of think of this is I think this is a hybrid double top. So I counted all this as actually the first top. So it's above the midline. And this is the line I get. So there's still room for more downside kind of in my version of the same chart, right? The same channel anyway. My version of the same channel on the log chart. So this is why I think this is going to fake people out. I kind of get the idea that we're going to go below it and actually touch this area and consolidate and then resume up. But I do think that also the other takeaway from this work, and then again, I don't trade off of log charts. This is just purely for projecting and looking at what, channels and stuff like that, what might play out. I think you see remember our original target? What's so interesting is that my yellow line here, or shortly after, if we peak, is right at 100. Look at that number. 140,000, which is our original target the whole time, a long time ago. 140,000 was the original target. And we all thought 140,000 sounded crazy. $140,000, remember, sounded crazy when Bitcoin was at 6,000 or 8,000, or 10,000 even. And now that we've traded up to 65,000, 140,000 doesn't seem so crazy. It's actually not that big of a... And if you had some consolidation, a fake out, Wyckoff style... people, you look at those Wyckoff charts, there's a spring event. Wyckoff spring, actually slightly take out that low, hit this, and then bounce hard, and then go into a blow-off top, and come back down. That's still what I think very well could play out, honestly. But I think the top is going to be... I had a top, and I've measured the potential top at 288,000 multiple times. So the original question earlier, forget 200 or 300,000, how do we make a new high? There's a lot of catalysts that can get us there. Things can change quickly, News can be piled on positively, and things can go the right direction pretty quick. So you always have to keep an eye on it. It is still fighting to hold this, this little bit of breakout on this wedge. So we'll just have to see what happens. All right, back to questions. You guys do realize that Bitcoin was already dropped in all the time frames before the tweet, right? I didn't realize that. I was literally looking on my phone because I was kind of mentally preparing for going back live here, and price was here, and all of a sudden it just tanked. And I went to find what on earth had happened. Let's go find that out. Let's go to Elon's tweet and find out when that was. Elon Musk. I don't follow him, by the way. I probably should follow Elon. I don't follow Elon. And then he tweets, "I miss you." Dude, this dude is such a... I don't know what he's... Why are you crying? Because I miss you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What a troll. Oh wow. Elon, dude. Hilarious. It's kind of funny. I'll give him props. That's kind of funny. All right. He tweeted at, how do you get the time of these tweets? 8:07 p.m. All right. And how do I tell what 8:00? Oh, good night. It's currently 10. Yeah, it looks to me like he tweeted right on the 12-minute. 8:07 would be on my little chart here. Somewhere in here. Somewhere in this candle right here. Let's go to the 1 minute. I hate the 1 minute chart, but whatever. Just for the sake of this. 8:07. Oh yeah, it had already started to sell off right there. Bounced. And then he tweeted at 8:07. Right there. Wow, those algos were fast, man. They were almost pre-cog level. What on earth? Yeah, he tweeted right there. That candle right there was when he tweeted. What? You would think it would have been over here. Or maybe I got the time off. 07. Let's see here. Oh, my current time. So at 8:07 was just under 2 hours ago. So it's 2 hours. Oh yeah, he tweeted over here. I'm sorry. You're right. So it had already started to sell off. Yeah. So this price action was taking place. This little bit of it all taking place, and he tweeted as it was coming back up, and he sent. This is the Elon tweet. Not there. That's like, okay, hold on. Wait a minute. This was going this direction, and then it started going this direction before. Okay. Whatever. What's that blinky? Have y'all seen like the meme with the gift that the guy's like, that's my reaction. Alrighty then. Alright. Back to comments. Elon tweet indicator. No joke. It's gonna poop before and then dump after. Michael. That's funny. Alright. We'll buy more XRP, a good potential in the long run, than Doge, which started as a joke and surely as a joke. Alright, fair enough. If you like XRP, I'm not a fan, but you know, to each his own. Elon wants to earn money, that's all. Well, okay. It's gonna pop right after the weekend Miami crypto venture. It might, yeah. We'll see. We get back to positive, momentum, I'll be back in. But, fundamentally for position trades, the way I've always, not always, when I quit losing money at trading years ago and I started making money, I was a position trader. I started as a fundamentals value investor doing way too much research, reading yearly and quarterly releases and crunching a ton of numbers around return on investment, return on invested capital, growth, estimating growth projections and earnings and book value and so forth and so on, and calculating an intrinsic value and then buying things that were quote unquote on sale. Hey, thanks for the super poop chat. But what I figured out was this market's all fake, and it doesn't matter if you have the greatest numbers in the world. If the street doesn't like you, you're going down. It doesn't matter. It's a popularity contest. It's all fake anyway. So I started like, all right, I give up on the fundamentals value side, and I just do technicals. And so when I learned technicals, what I learned really quickly that got me on the right side of the trade was, hey, when things are going this way, you buy the dip into support and you make money. And when things are going this way, you sell as you break down out of support. When you break support, you sell. And a good simple way for me was just putting some SMAs on my chart. Like, all right, this looks pretty good. We're going this way. We just hit this SMA. I'm going to buy a little. Oh, we broke down over here. I'm going to sell a little. And it works. Works pretty well, just buying with momentum. So for position trades, which is what holding Bitcoin in a cold wallet offline is definitely a position trade. It's not a swing trade where you have like a stop loss. You just have something that you're holding. So yeah, for position trades, I just want to buy with momentum. So right now we've lost momentum, right? The 50 is definitely going this way. The 120 is flatlined, and the 200 is still going up. That's actually, you know, the one positive thing. I'm just keeping an eye on that. But this cross here, the 50 lost. Most likely the 50 is going to cross the 200, and the 200 is probably going to flatline. But if we retake the 200 while it's still upward, that's you know, I will add to my position on that because it is still going upward. But it's as simple as that to me, right? I just wait for it to regain momentum, and I'll get back in. We don't care. Is it breaking out or what? Bruno, I don't know what you don't care about, and are you asking me is Bitcoin breaking out? I have no clue. Have you seen this price action lately? If you ask anybody and they think they know what's going to happen, they're flat wrong. If anybody tells you they know what's going to happen, they're dead wrong. The one thing I can tell you with a certainty is that we have lost momentum and we are under resistance right now. We tried to break this very, very important level of 38,179, and we haven't closed. We closed a daily above it. That was very positive. And now we're back below it. So on a lower time frame, we're back below it, but we can quickly retake it. So we'll see if we retake this level, or if we end up getting a rejection, if this ends up being a false breakout, and we end up consolidating in this range. The other thing I can tell you is that as long as we're under this purple line right here, we've lost momentum. If this purple line keeps moving in this direction where it's still up and hasn't curled down like this blue line, which is obviously curled down, and you get back above it, and you show that you found it a support and resumption off of it, then it's probably still in a very much a long-term uptrend, and these become less important. All right, if this stays going upward and we retake it, but if this crosses this, the blue line crosses the purple line, and the purple line starts going this direction, then that's a sign of lost momentum, and it's a waiting game then for it to regain momentum. That's all I can tell you. That's it. That's the magic formula. When things are going this way, you buy them. When things are going this way, you sell them. That's the magic formula. Elon wanted to tank Bitcoin to pump Dogecoin. Looks like he did. His plan didn't work yet. I believe Dogecoin will skyrocket. Bitcoin will tank, sadly. Well, is he going to pump? Is he going to tweet something positive, or did he tweet something positive maybe about Dogecoin? Like, I really don't care about what Elon tweets too much. It matters in the short term. But in the long run, like it was already breaking down. Maybe that comment earlier, by the way, I just now realized this. Your comment earlier might have been that Bitcoin was already breaking down here, technically, before Elon tweeted that Tesla wasn't going to accept payment anymore. And that's a fair statement. That was definitely the case. We were breaking down here. That was just a catalyst to send us down stronger. But we were already coming in pretty hot to this 120 on this day right here when he tweeted that. So I was already watching that. So you're right about that. This little bit here, he happened to tweet when we had broken out. It was starting to curl down. We saw that in the chart. His timing is kind of impeccable, isn't it? Keeps tamping things down. Still waiting for a pump. All BTC did is test the bottom of the 4-hour EMA ribbon. I'll have to go look at that. I got an Elon Muck. Do you think alts will tank until BTC recovers? Yes. Not tank, but I think they'll be weak, and this is why. You just look at this chart. Now this is not, this chart's a little bit less. It's not like something that you can really trade on, but this is super, to me, informative of the season that we're in. And what I see happening here, if you look, this low was the post parabolic top on Bitcoin, the strong alt season. This low over here was that early alt season. This is when Ethereum made a big run, and it kind of bottomed out here in that summer. So this is when Ethereum was really strong, and then Bitcoin. See how this play out? Yeah. So from that point on, Bitcoin gained strength as it went into its parabolic. So from that summer lows here to Bitcoin's parabolic top was here. So Bitcoin gained strength. And then Bitcoin lost initially after it sold off, but then when we went into the bear market, look what happened, right? So this is all the bear market. So alts lost versus Bitcoin throughout the bear market. So the longer Bitcoin consolidates on the negative side, now when Bitcoin, what happens is when Bitcoin is doing this and it consolidates on an uptrend, then alts typically do well and this goes down, right? The Bitcoin dominance drops as alts gain a lot of strength because there's a lot of interest coming into crypto. The problem is when Bitcoin goes the other direction, when Bitcoin starts to sell off like we see and consolidates this direction, this is what happens. Bitcoin dominance rises while altcoins sell off harder than Bitcoin does. And given where we're at, you see alt season, really was from July through September, July, August, September. So about 3 months. Maybe about 3 months of really strong, altcoins, some bouncing around, and then Bitcoin. I'm expecting a bounce in Bitcoin, all like this over here. Something that looks like this pretty soon. It might come after some consolidation sideways. So if Bitcoin is selling off, though, through all this, two things are going to happen. One, alts are going to lose while Bitcoin is either losing or stagnating. They'll at least be stagnating. But you can kind of see, historically, we're on the bottom end of, we're coming into support on Bitcoin dominance. We're on the bottom end of this. And so the next move that we can reasonably predict is at least a relief rally, if it were on this chart, if you want to call it that. But a bounce on this chart is what we can expect. Now, it may take a while to play out. We might, ping pong and then bounce. Now, ultimately, what I kind of expected to happen on this particular chart was after, assuming Bitcoin does retake and enter price discovery again in the next, say 6 months and does break 65,000 again, what'll happen is during that time, Bitcoin will definitely gain dominance and maybe come into a level like up here. And then as Bitcoin sells off that second time after its parabolic top, then alts should really go on a rampage and maybe spike down slightly lower than last cycle. So you can kind of see, Bitcoin's kind of in a terminal decline because there's going to be more and more and more viable crypto projects. So Bitcoin probably won't always maintain 70% of the total crypto market cap or even 50%. It'll probably start to be 20, 25, whatever percent over time. But last cycle, we bottomed out here at this 50 level, right at 50% of the crypto market cap. The first early part, and then when Bitcoin made its parabolic top, it regained strength all the way to 70. So the move was from 70 to 50 to 70 to 35 to 50 to 40, and then, right? So now what we can kind of expect is probably we can expect something similar. Obviously, it's not going to be identical. But we hit 70 on that early move in November, December, January. Late December, early January, we peaked out here, and then the alts have been on a rampage ever since then. We can expect a bounce probably somewhere in here. Now, some of these little pops, by the way, were on sell-offs. This is when Bitcoin had its sell-off. So we can expect, we had a first pop and a sell-off. We could have a second sell-off in Bitcoin and a little pop, more consolidation. And then a big Bitcoin move where Bitcoin makes its parabolic top. That could be expected. And this is kind of also why I don't think that the cycle is over, because this is playing out too predictably, far too predictably. And again, this is where the first sell-off, the early alt season and the first Bitcoin sell-off bottomed out, and then the post parabolic top in Bitcoin bottomed out here. So I think this is going to be our bottom. So the bottom was 50. The bottom this cycle is 40. And this bottom here at the post-parabolic top, early 2018 crypto, the real crypto alt season, bottomed out at 35. I can see us getting down to, say, 25 this time, right? So kind of just some symmetry there, right? Bounce. And there's a very similar, type of pattern. You get the idea. So I do think that, given the territory we're at, focusing on this chart and the psychology around the Bitcoin dominance, basically in short, I expect us to bounce a little bit, right? We're on the lower end of historical levels here, so odds are that we find a bounce here, the next couple months, and altcoins lose to Bitcoin in general over the next several months. Let's go back to, is Bitcoin tanking some more? Oh, tanking, but still going down. I put in an order for the new Tesla Wyckoff. Should ship next month or so. Do you think alts and Ethereum will start running if Bitcoin is accumulating for a few months? Yeah, see, Cameron, I think I just covered that, right? If Bitcoin is accumulating in a negative fashion, like after a high and we're accumulating lower, I think alts will bleed, actually, is what I think will happen. Or they'll just go sideways. Like, you know, look what happened in the bear market, for example. Right? So what happens is, like, you can call this, a lot of this was Bitcoin accumulating. Like from here to here was a lot of accumulation, right? And I'm pretty sure altcoins lost value all through here. I go look at the chart, but you know, they gained value. The alt spiked right here, and then they dropped mightily. So let's go look. It's just now you brought that up. Let me go look. Let's go look at June 2018 through say November, let's say the end of October. June through October 2018 on the Bitcoin dominance and see what happened. June through October 20, let's go to the daily. Here's 2018, June through October. Yeah, see? This is what happened. When Bitcoin consolidated, quote unquote, in the early parts of the bear market at a, you know, below its all-time high, Bitcoin dominance. That means what was happening here is Bitcoin was going sideways, altcoins were selling off massively. So, yeah, there's your analog right there. Right? So, when it was clear Bitcoin was in a downtrend, you can probably look at that chart all the way from March. Let's go back to the Bitcoin dominance from, say, March here. March. Yeah, so, yeah, the alts made a little bit of a pop from March to May. And let's see what happened to Bitcoin starting in May. That's really interesting timing. So let's go back to Bitcoin chart in May. Yeah, right here. When it was clear that Bitcoin was losing. So from this point on, from May, from here to here, the alts lost much bigger than Bitcoin did. So Bitcoin went down. And we can look at Ethereum. Let's go just measure Ethereum here. That'll be another helpful, right? But the point I'm making is when you are below an all-time high and you're consolidating kind of this negative consolidation. Now, we don't have any data on altcoins from 2013. That would be really useful right now. But when you're consolidating on the other side of a sell-off, I think alts are going to lose value. That's my guess. But yeah, from that point we talked about, like, let's say late May, this little pop right here, early June. We'll just say from mid-May down through November, early November, let's call it the very end of October, Bitcoin lost 23%. So from mid-May to early October, Bitcoin lost 23%. Let's go look at Ethereum. Mid-May, right there, we'll just call it somewhere in the, I'm just going to put it in the plot in the middle of this price action through early October, or the very end of October. So Ethereum lost 72%, while Bitcoin lost 23%. That's kind of what I expect to happen. That's why I'm not FOMOing back into ADA, to be honest with you. It's exactly why I'm still 80% out of my, I'm the biggest Cardano fanboy there is, and I'm 80% out. I got out when we made this parabolic kind of pseudo blow off top. We hit, there's a fib level on a weekly or daily extension. I can map it for you. We hit this level. I took a tiny bit there. But when we lost this parabolic launch trend line, came back up into it, tested it, resumed down at 230s when I sold. I was probably watching on a really low time frame, to be honest with you. I sold at 230. My limit order was 230. 80%. And that's why I've been out ever since then. Because, you know, I just look at the history of what happens when Bitcoin consolidates, you know, after a sell-off like this. The alts are probably going to get just demolished. That's my guess. So you can see the early, whenever Bitcoin sells off, it's just what happens. Crypto sells off harder in general. So that's what I expect to happen. All right. Better investment, Bitcoin or Ethereum? Better investment for 2021, Bitcoin, because we're still in the Bitcoin halving cycle. The halving still, you know, the effect of the miners halving on the supply shock is wearing off now. We're no longer necessarily in the supply shock phase. That was this time last year, you know, yeah, this time last year. through the end of the year. We're still post 2018 all-time high, which sets off a lot of psychological, movement. And so as long as we can consolidate here and regain positive momentum, as long as we basically stay well above $20,000, as long as we basically stay well above this, even if we touch it briefly, which would be unprecedented for a bull market, right? It'd be the first time we would go back to touch that line. I don't think we will. As long as we stay above here, we still have a stigma of the prior all-time high being broken, and we've made a new paradigm in Bitcoin's price action. So we can expect similar, price discovery dynamics to play out. So we're still kind of in price discovery, even with the sell-off, right? It's still, if you ask people a year ago, was June, would Bitcoin be at $37,000? I think you're crazy. Or if you said, yeah, Bitcoin will be at $37,000 next year, June. Yeah, we were at 9,000, right? So, all in all, we're still kind of in this pseudo price discovery phase. We're up 300% in a year. I mean, it's still getting interest, and so we haven't lost, too much of that. So, long-winded way of saying that. Well, what was even the question? I forget, but Ethereum. I think Bitcoin's a better investment for this year. For the next, say, 10 years, I did a video on this. I did ETH versus Bitcoin video. And basically, I think Ethereum is probably going to maintain some dominance in the platform space. And the platform space is going to grow greatly. And I think there's going to be more attacks on Bitcoin because it's a competitor to, fiat currencies and central banking. And so I would expect that Bitcoin's going to have a really hard fight with the concept of being the world reserve currency. So the only way that Bitcoin will ever fight off every other crypto is if it becomes like the world reserve currency, or at least the people's money, at least the people's reserve currency, right? If it achieves that status, then nothing's going to touch it. But if it doesn't achieve that status in, say, the next 10 years, Ethereum could actually pass it because of the utility around it. So, or at least Ethereum will gain on it. But, ETH BTC, I'm not super convicted in that because I think this is also a terminal decline. Like I said this the other day with a video I did with Jordan. This is that early alt season peak. This is the post 2018 blow off. I think this is our early alt season peak, and I think our post blow off, if we do get a blow off top in Bitcoin, will be somewhere in this area. So this competition's coming for Ethereum, so it's hard for me to say. Bitcoin's a safer investment. I do think Ethereum will still outperform Bitcoin over, say, 10 years because of the attacks it's going to withstand from central banking and the money masters. But the competition that Ethereum is going to have gives me pause. I think I'm very strongly in the camp that Cardano is going to massively outperform both of them. So there you go. There's my answer. Cardano is the winner. That's not even close. All right, moving on. Ethereum can't survive without Bitcoin? Of course it can. If Bitcoin went away tomorrow, Ethereum's still valuable. It's just not... Ethereum is a utility. It's like oil, right? It's like a commodity. It's not... Like, people need to get off this notion that Ethereum's going to replace Bitcoin. Nothing can replace Bitcoin. Either Bitcoin's going to succeed, because unless Satoshi reemerges, either Bitcoin's going to succeed or nothing digital is going to succeed. Period. Either Bitcoin's going to do it, or the money masters are going to win and fiat currencies are going to reign supreme. Nothing else has a shot. Period. End of story. But Ethereum by itself, without Bitcoin were to be killed tomorrow because of the proof of work and the green movement and whatever else, Ethereum still has value. Ethereum, it's still a viable platform and utility. Joshua, yeah. I'm not even upset. It was just kind of funny. Personally, I'm not upset with him. Like, I don't really care what he says about Bitcoin anymore. It's gonna hurt some people on trading, but this is a little bitty. He only cost a few percentage move here. I think this was already gonna happen without him. This big sell-off. It might have got accelerated. Maybe we hit that 32 level and bounce off of it a little bit harder if Elon never got involved in Bitcoin. But this green candle right here happened because of Elon. So really, yeah, you look at what was, we already had a big sell-off, and we were starting to recover. Maybe the chart looks more like this without Elon, right? This is all just, you know, post Tesla, and this is all after Tesla got it pulled, you know, basically is nullified. I don't know. But nonetheless, we've lost momentum, so it's time to be defensive. And so the fact that Elon tweeted, and I hope nobody got liquidated on this little move here. That would be pretty. I mean, there are probably people that took, you know, entries. I guess look at the 8 hour here. You did have some, you know, CTM entries. I'm sure, you know, we're not the only people that would have noticed that. Hey, this breakout. People probably bought this breakout, and people probably bought coming back into here and resuming off of there. Yeah. So, but I hope nobody got hurt in that. But so Elon was just like coronavirus. He only accelerated the inevitable. I mean, yeah, I pretty much think so. I think if he never got involved, we'd have a little bit more smooth, you know, measured price action. This early pump would have been probably a little more consolidation. And maybe we would have had our, you know, our mid-cycle shakeout might have been 40%. We might have gone up to, say, 50,000, got rejected at 50, which is, so above all this was that $1 trillion market cap right through here, right? So this was basically a rejection of the $1 trillion market cap is what happened, ultimately, on the big picture. So this was trading above $1 trillion market cap, and we got rejected. We may have fought underneath this, got rejected, got our 40% correction here to almost the same level, and then resumed up without Elon. Maybe that's what happens, you know, if he never got involved to begin with. What do you think will happen to the creator of BTC? What do you think happened? Like, what do I think happened to Satoshi? I think his name is Hal Finney, and we lost him to ALS. That's what I think happened. Have a look at the I miss you Elon tweet. He has some communist symbols in the third picture, a sickle and a Russian hat. Oh, what is up with that? Holy cow, that is creepy. This is just way too, like, him tweeting this, in the end, it didn't even matter with all the symbolism that's in that music video. And then now literally putting a Russian symbol and a Russian hat and a owl. Isn't that the all-seeing owl? That's the UN symbol under there. This is some, like, major Illuminati, Bilderberg conspiracy. Holy cow, Rothschild stuff going on over here. My goodness gracious. That is crazy. That's actually insane. I want to take a screenshot of that. Who knows if this gets removed? There's no way. Has that always been on that tweet? Or has this like picture always been here? I'm going to have to study that. That is beyond crazy, guys. Do I think we're going to pop back up? I have no clue, and neither does anybody else. I think we're going to consolidate. That's what I think. I think we're going to consolidate. Hopefully, positive consolidation would be in this area. Kind of what we were trying to do. Negative consolidation would look something like this. So if we had a negative consolidation event, we might just get back to this prior all-time high and get rejected for our blow-off top. I was looking for a month or so of consolidation in here, and then something that looks like that. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, this is creepy, guys. What the flying monkey? What on earth is going on? I gotta save this and blow it up for it. That is just beyond creepy. I'm gonna have to go, man. I'm gonna have to go dig through some like serious, like strong conspiracy. This is I'm gonna call this Elon what, Illuminati? I don't know. I don't think Illuminati are a thing anymore, but whatever. I'll just call it Illuminati for the sake of being, so I know quickly what I'm looking at. All right. That is beyond creepy. Is that an owl? And it looks like a little. I mean, that's a. I guess, is that some kind of Russian hat, and a Russian symbol, and that's either that's the UN or that's the World Economic Forum logo. And upside down owl. Doesn't owl stand for something? What does the owl stand for? I don't know. I'm not super big on these conspiracies. I don't really know. That is just creepy. If somebody here knows, that'd be great. The blue thing is a Pokemon and probably a copy and paste. I wouldn't look into it. Oh, it's a Pokemon? I don't know anything about Pokemon. Not a thing. Okay, the blue thing's a Pokemon, not an owl. Deep State. Deep State. Wait, he joined the dark side. Instagram meme makers watermark their memes like that a lot. Ah! Well, that would be quite the... Oh, that's going to send a bunch of people into a tizzy if that's just a meme maker that watermarked their meme in this crazy... That's nuts. Yeah, I kind of didn't think it was put there by Elon. I just thought it was really coincidental that it had it on there. That's what I was asking. I asked earlier, did this, like, because I've seen that image before used elsewhere for jokes and you know, stock or crypto forums, but why is the Pokemon? He's like upside down wearing a Russian hat. The all-seeing eye chart, yeah. Pokemon. Pokemon. I know nothing about the Pokemons. All right. Thoughts on iElix LRC? What is that? I don't know what it is. I don't have any thoughts on it because I have no idea what you're talking about. Ah, this. Number 120. Has it been climbing up? Oh, yeah, that's why it popped. Okay. I don't know what it is, so let's take a quick look at it. I need to wrap up this. Well, how long is this? This is going an hour. We're going way too long. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up here soon. I'm going to end on this. Decentralized computing, blockchain, blah, 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 monetize their computing power, on-demand cloud computing resources. Yeah, I've looked into a couple of these. Uses the extreme web, HEP, open source, grid software. Look at their website. I can usually cut through these pretty fast if they're viable or not. This is my specialty, like internet infrastructure, decentralized, centralized, whatever. Cloud computing, compute resources, infrastructure is my specialty. So that's what this. I'll do some research on it and let you know in a further video because I haven't done any reading on it. So there's a lot that goes into these. And how do you build computing power marketplace data sets? Let's go to these type of projects have promise. I'll say that, but it's not as easy as you think, and as it may sound, and it's not as beneficial as it may sound. There's a lot of applications that can take use of this sort of like very distributed. Decentralized would maybe not be the right word for this. This is more distributed compute architecture. There's a lot of workloads that can take advantage of this, but there's a lot of workloads that really it's very inefficient to try to run in this very I want to say decentralized is not the word, distributed manner. So it's literally a VM that you launch. You connect to a network. And then you set up a worker. Yeah, all right. This is really straightforward stuff. This is basically like, if you know anything about big data computing, like cloud, Hadoop or other big data applications. A lot of these use a lot of those mechanisms to distribute workload. And then you report back with the response of whatever work that you were asked to do. Bitcoin's getting a little pop here. All right, guys. Elon must be high. Dogecoin's currently pumping. Oh boy, not again. Is it a big pump or a little pump? Or is it just following Bitcoin? Oh yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's not doing anything. It's a good time to short Dogecoin. Yeah, Doge is a short right now. Well, hey. At least it's got the right moving averages in the right direction, but it's still an opportunity to short something like this, a chart like this. Oh, look at it's a big head and shoulders. Yeah, it's totally gonna form a Head and Shoulders, and that's gonna be hilarious. That's like a mega Head and Shoulders. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up. I hope I got. Let me just double check for super chats. I had my one poop one. Thank you, Mix to Mix, for the super chat. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I'm going to. IOTA has strong. I was a big IOTA fan. I sold my IOTA after the hack earlier in 2020, and when price rebounded, I did sell on a nice little spike there, and I rotated all that money to ADA. So yeah, I was a big. See, I was doing a bunch of charting on IOTA, and I sold somewhere over here. I think over here. No, I don't know. I don't know when I sold. 2021? No, I sold in 2020. I sold I sold early, apparently. Yeah, I must have sold here. I sold here and bought ADA. IOTA's cool. All those, you know, acyclical or directed acyclical graph DAG technologies, the you know, graph-based ledgers are interesting, but there's a lot of work that you need to do to figure those out. So, diamond hands. All right, thanks guys. Y'all take care. Good night. I hope it was helpful. I'm gonna kill my other music I got going on here. Where? All right, there we go. And I'm gonna play us some chill Doge-wave. Everybody needs to chill out. Just relax. Just let Bitcoin consolidate. Don't be overactive. Don't get chopped up. Oh yeah, one more kind of message. That's kind of why, you know, why I took a couple weeks off. It's just a small mental thing. You guys might want to consider doing that. When you see price action like this happening, for me, in order to not overtrade and not to get myself in trouble and get chopped up by the market, I just literally will like go hands off. So I move my stable coins to, you know, the DeFi, I don't know what you really call them, but places where you get return interest for your coins. So I've been collecting interest on my stable coins, just kind of watching the market play out. Happy to collect stable coins, but it's a good thing to walk away sometimes when you see stuff, you know, going in unexpected directions. Just let it chill, let it shake out before you start getting back in. It's being in a rush. If you're in a rush to enter trades, you're going to be in a rush to lose money. That's the way it works. So be careful with your trades. It's a good time to just kind of relax and not be overactive and just let things play out. Pay the small penalty of entering, you know, 5 or 10% higher when things are safe and waters are calm than to try to catch falling knives now. But anyway, y'all take care. Not financial advice. Stand by the river.